Yoke is back, yoke is back, yoke is back. Yoke is back.
Generation X.
Yoke is back.
Yoke is back.
Welcome to Yoke.
Yoke is back.
Welcome to the OG Yoke podcast. And we have three honored guests today for this amazing movie called Picture Bride. And Alex Liu is former editor of Yoke magazine, is going to talk to you guys and start the whole interview. Thank you very much. Oh, and I'm Summer.
Thanks, Summer. I just want to say that this is a very, it's an honor and a treat for me. This is a special episode, I think, of the OGO podcast to really celebrate and honor and also reflect on this seminal film called Picture Bride. And for you viewers and listeners who have not seen the movie Picture Bride, it was a unique, amazing, beautiful, pioneering film. It came out in 1995, directed by the late Kayo Hatta, and it stars Yuki Kudo, TAMLYN TOMITA, CARY Tagawa, and the venerable Toshiro Mifune in his last film. So we have three amazing guests today, and I'm so happy that you're all here. Lisa Onodera, producer, Claudio Rocha, cinematographer, and actor TAMLYN TOMITA. Just a couple of things with your bios. Lisa is an independent film producer and screenwriter. Her completed feature projects include, of course, Picture Bride, the debut, Day of Independence, and American Knees, based on the novel by Sean Wong. She's currently developing a feature film about conservation biologist Georgina Mace. Claudio Rocha, amazing cinematographer, the master of light, has been working as a cinematographer for more than 3 decades in fiction and documentaries, focusing mainly on topics related to cross-national and cultural identities. His credits include, of course, Picture Bride, Bajo, California, Mrs. Palfrey at the Claremont, and The Maldonado Miracle. His documentary works include The Mexican Suitcase, Reportero, and Man in the Middle, Ruben Salazar. And of course, TAMLYN TOMITA, actor and writer, iconic, I would say a pioneer. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Also was in Picture Bride playing Kana, and just a little bit of her credits, Joy Luck Club, Karate Kid 2, The Underseen, in my opinion, Come See the Paradise, Robot Stories, Only the Brave.
Ultraman Rising, because it was nominated.
Yes. And TV work, Berlin Station,
Oh, yeah.
Good Doctor, Cobra Kai, and Hiroshima Maiden.
Mm.
Boy, memories. But yeah, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
for being here. So I want to start with TAMLYN. So talk to us a little bit about how you came across Picture Bride. In your career at that time, I mean, I know, but I want you to speak about it for the viewers and listeners. What had you done before Picture Bride? How did you hear about it? How were you approached? And what was that like? So a little bit about what you were doing before Picture Bride and how did you find out about it, or how were you approached for the role?
I know, it's just like I'm trying to remember because it's like, oh wow, it's 30 years ago. But I think my most vivid memory is that came across my agent's desk, and in the traditional manner, it's like you are sent the script, the actor is sent the script, you read the script, and you decide whether or not you would like to audition for it, because the script usually comes with an ask for an audition call. I read it, it's like, absolutely. And it also came with a meeting with KAYO HATTA. And I think it was a pretty hands-on in somebody's backyard. I can't remember. I think it was yours, right? That's why I was just like, I think it was somebody's backyard in the South Bay or something like that. And it was outdoors and it was very, very casual. Kaya was not the super savvy Hollywood person. It was talking about her inspiration of her grandma as well as so many other picture brides from across generations, and not just specifically Japanese. We know we're Japanese picture brides here, but it's picture brides coming through Hawaii because we all have a connectivity to our mothers, where they come from, the untold stories, and how she was really paying homage along with her sisters, as to how their aunties and their elder women were coming from. And then we just came into conversation as to how we all don't know, the breadth and depth of our ancestral histories, but that's what makes America great, really, because it is the stories. If we can all collectively come together and say, this is my family history, what's your family history? Oh, wow, that happened with yours, this happened with mine, the comparisons and the contrasts and the rich diversity of what it means to be American. And Hawaii specifically too, because it's another microcosm of what America is, and how Kayo is always, very, very cognizant of the fact that Asian American women are usually seen as the sweet, submissive, docile one. But the two central characters of Picture Bride we look like it because we're little and petite, but then they're the will, the strong will and desire to, to make a choice, to have independent thought, and to also fight for your voice was really spoke out with the script.
Add one more thing to that. So at that point in time, what was it about the script that you really, really like? It just kind of lit you, kind of lit something in you. It sounds like you really reacted to it. And were you surprised at that time, especially like early mid 90s, that there was an actual script to be done? Like, were you surprised by it? Were you even skeptical? Like, is this really going to be someone going to make this? So what were your thoughts about?
Women centered.
Yes.
It was absolutely women centered. It came from a woman's point of view. It came from a woman's point of strength, of her choice to submit, but also to triumph over the rules and the structures of society. You're supposed to be a woman, you're supposed to cook and clean and, have the babies as well as work in the fields. That's specifically to this story. But it didn't have to do with falling in love in the traditional manner. It came about with Yuki's character, about seeing her husband for who he is, because he was able to see her for who she is, as well as her seeing herself through herself, because being thrown into a new country, a new set of circumstances that she did not expect, she really felt the resilience and the strength in herself. Kana, having previously been in the fields for a little bit longer, showed a little bit more of a darker side, but also the desire to overcome, to triumph, and to really, really win herself at all costs. Yeah. So again, and so 1993, just to give your viewers, I had just finished I just finished Joy Luck Club. So it was about another woman-centered film, coming to another woman-centered film with a tenth of the budget, if that, and the collaboration and the community spirit of what it meant to be a part of this project. I think that's the overriding sense, that it wasn't my film, it was really the community's film, because there's so many stories of how people say, I made this, for the film, or I contributed $5. That's why we have the second longest credit roll.
Lisa, so kind of going back to the same time frame, I know we shared a little bit of this knowledge, but like what brought you to it, how you met Kayo, how did that happen, your working relationship, your friendship, how you got started on this journey, making the film, producing the film. Just no small task.
And tell us the struggle. Tell us like how bad was it? Yeah, how bad was it, especially during that time, because it wasn't very popular to make films like that story back then. So I just wanted to, and I was still, I was alive then, and I'm
You
pretty,
were?
yeah, I'm like, why didn't I watch the film when I was that age? So I was like, oh, but go ahead.
So I was an undergraduate at UCLA Film School. Just dropped in from the Bay Area, and I met Kayo, and I saw her student project, Otemba, which is about did you see Otemba? It's about a family of girls, and the father wants a son really badly, and another baby is about to be born, and the film takes place on Christmas Eve when the baby's born. Like that setup right away is so narratively, strong immediately. And also, she really understood Japanese American family, Japanese American culture. And I just felt like I need to get behind this person and help them do whatever they need to do. So she needed a Christmas tree for the Christmas scene. I drove around, I found a Christmas tree and dragged it up there. That's just what I wanted to do. And I finished film school. I had to work all the way through film school, but I just wanted to support what Kayo was doing. Also, she came from a documentary background. So that's where her activism came from and her point of view, women's stories came from. So no, I was just 100% behind her. And it started out as a documentary film and grew to this feature project because I think all of us felt like, why not? Joy Luck Club had come out, and we started to get this taste like, wow, we could reach a lot of people. And we got a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and kind of rolled it into feature production, which we didn't have enough money for. But sorry, I'm so sorry. But
No.
it was hard.
That's the struggle she was asking.
Yeah. So the struggle was, it was hard.
With the Joy Luck Club, there was four young women in that movie. So how do you choose, like, no offense to anybody else, but how do you choose like Tamlyn and Yuki? Like, how do you guys?
Tamlyn was already
Hot.
Well, I mean, Kayo and I were like, there has to be
A way.
Tamlyn has to be in this. And then Kayo wanted somebody who really felt like she was a fish out of water. So we started looking at Japanese national actresses because Kayo wanted that, like, what's the word? It's not timidity, but it's fragility. She really wanted that innate fragility in the person. And actually, the character of Kana, that friend character, was when we started thinking about Tamlyn and thinking about who she was in Karate Kid and who she was in Joy Luck Club, we're like, what if there was somebody who was a little harder, a little stronger, like a little more at home. Yeah.
Bitter.
But
You just like
Right.
doesn't want to like her right away because she loves the innocence of, but then she doesn't want. I felt that with watching them.
Yeah. There was that friction. Right?
Yeah, she's like, you. I mean, these weren't the words in the movie, but you dummy, like why?
You're slowing us down.
Yeah. How are you going to help us make money?
But Kana's character is enterprising. She has a business already. She's raising her children with a husband who's kind of brokenhearted, but he's turned abusive in that brokenheartedness. And she's still loves him, and she's stitching it together. I mean, that was a really deep character.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Both flaws, and so her flaws, she's still with him.
Yeah.
But then I can't even imagine. They were doing laundry after.
Oh, yeah.
They were doing the fields. I was like, 24 hours in a day. When do you sleep?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
She couldn't sleep because Kana had children. So yeah. I mean, when you think about, it's almost like Rio, the lead character is almost like the first stage of arrival of the immigrant experience, and Kana is like the deep root of that immigrant experience. Like, what did those women have to do? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's another character, Yayoi, who she's a minor character in the film, but she's like, right?
Yeah.
She's like the third stage where she's made it. She has a family and she's going to Honolulu to make tofu. Like, she's already, she got out.
Yeah.
She got out.
The resilience. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Sacrifices.
so
It's
she,
just fun.
yeah, she makes an appearance and she's the boss of all the girls, or she takes care of the girls, and she passes that to Kana.
Right.
I just have one question. Is that um, when you picked all the other characters, because I truly believe in even the day players. Everybody is a important part of the whole story. So how did you guys audition to everybody?
Really a long casting process. So we had casting in Hawaii.
Yeah.
We wanted to cast local people. For a lot of budget reasons, and we couldn't fly people in and put them, I think, it was just too prohibitive. But so Kayo and Mari, there could be, I was saying 5 scripts from Picture Bride. There could be probably 50, because their imaginations and the depth of the stories, like you were saying, Tamlyn, there are so many American stories to tell. There were so many characters in Picture Bride which could have spun off into other movies. There's the whole Filipino contingent.
Right.
There's the other brides, the prostitutes, that go around the camps and gamble with the men. All the different brides, the runaway bride.
Right.
Yeah, like I think one draft of the script had a runaway bride theme that was consistent, that was a possibility, that Rio or Kana could run away. And what would happen to them if they did that? So, I mean, in terms of casting, it was almost like every character, even though she was only on screen for 3 minutes, or she had 1 or 2 lines, could have spun off into, another one. And when in casting, her story was already there. She wasn't just a face that we cast. It's hard to explain. Like, I would say she's the one that had tuberculosis and had to go back to Japan, or she's the one that is the runaway bride, so I don't know if that answers the question.
Right. No, it does. Thank you. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Claudia.
No. But I just want to throw in, for the listeners, of course, you mentioned Mari, and, that's actually Mari Hatta, who co-wrote the screenplay Picture Bride with KAYO HATTA. I just want to also give credit where credit is due. So thank you for mentioning that. Claudio, so kind of going back, what do you remember? How did you get involved? How did you meet KAYO? This story I don't know. Had she seen some stuff that you had shot? What did that friendship, working relationship, what was the origin of the story of that? And how did you come across Picture Bride?
Basically, I met Kayo through Lisa. I'd known Lisa for a while, and ever since I met her, she was working on this project that seemed like a chimera, right? So it was always like this. No, exactly, because it was a project of love that had been going on and on and on and on. It was always like, it was always about to happen, but it quite never did. And somehow, I mean, when they had the chance to do it, I mean, they invited me over to do it. At that point, I was living in Mexico. My career had started there. I was mostly working doing documentaries and small pieces of fiction. And somehow, I mean, when they sent me the script, I was like, this is amazing. This has to be made. I mean, whether I make it or not, someone has to make it, right? And having the opportunity to work on it was, for me, it's one of those things that changed my life in so many ways. From the opportunity to work in the U.S. and also just because it was something that because of the way it was done. It was literally a labor of love, and it was about commitment. And at that point, that seemed like the right project. So basically, yeah, that's how I met Kayo, and that's how we started working together. So we talked a little bit on the phone, and then when I went down to Hawaii to get started on the film, we basically just talked a lot, and we walked through the fields, and we're trying to discover a lot of, well, what is it that can be done here? What are the specifics of how to tell a story, and how to incorporate a lot of the settings that in which in which the film takes place, that it was very important to feel the landscape, to feel the weather, to feel the hard conditions. And because in many ways, it would have been very easy to idealize this place as a really beautiful place, which it is. But it's also within the harshness of the conditions and the mud and the inequality and the exploitation and all those things that the film was about. There had to be a beauty to it, and there had to be the challenge was to bring both the unique conditions in which these stories took place, and also the kindness and the humanity that transpired. So there was a lot of different things that were like, roll the dice and make that happen, right?
Yeah.
So and then there was a lot of conversations and a lot of trial and error, and we did a lot of tests and trying out how to make this seem both special and keep it realistic, and make it somehow magical, because there was a magical aspect to it as well.
Very magical.
That had to be part of it. There's a kind of a ghost story that also it's part of it.
And I want to kind of segue into that in terms of just the production process. I mean, with the limited budget, with a location that I'm assuming you've not been to before, and every director's different, right? So with Kayo, did she do a lot of storyboarding? Did she leave some space for both of you to kind of create on the spot? Not necessarily right when the scene's about to start, but you mentioned walking through the field. So what was the pre-production like? And this goes for Lisa too. Yeah, what was the pre-production? Was it all drawn out? I mean, was it how did she work with you and vice versa?
Yes, I think with every director, there's always kind of the hardest part is finding the language in which you're gonna work, and a lot of it is just coming with specifics. Me coming from a different culture, I mean, I guess that also brought a different sensibility to the filmmaking, and trying to find the common understanding of things. Basically, we talked a lot about things. We've watched some movies together. We had common references.
What were some movies that you watched together? I'm curious. Or do you remember some of the films?
Watch Onibaba, for instance. And then I can't honestly remember a lot of them, but we we talk about the camera height and all that simplicity.
How long were you there?
Don't remember.
Is it kind of like a sort of a vacation a little bit?
Vacation.
No.
When I told people, hey, I'm going to go to Hawaii, and this film, they're like, oh, that's going to be so great. Little I know that, Hawaii was like mud fields, rain, and cane fields, and
driving in the dark.
3 minutes away. That was I think that was, because it had to be. It was like there was not enough on that side of the island.
Right.
It had the ocean and the fields, so it's like
it's not Waikiki. Yeah. So they housed everybody in town because that's where
there was no place to live on the plantation.
Yeah, plus plantations were on their way out as well. Exactly. So that way of life was actually not happening anymore. Yeah. So it was only a small farm and the North Shore that was still somehow intact. That didn't have telephone poles and all the newer
internet. Right.
Well, yeah, this was before internet.
One telephone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
finding that place was challenging as well. And also finding there was, I remember there was this beautiful house in which um,
Oh, the plantation owner.
the plantation
Yeah,
owner
yeah,
where they take the
Yes.
laundry, and but those were, you know, rarities at that point.
Right.
So they use those plantation houses, the one where Yuki, the actress, was doing her scene, was like was already there. You guys didn't have to make it, right?
Matsuji's house?
Yeah.
That was partially constructed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but
Was that on a tour?
no, it was in the middle of the fields.
Yeah.
And actually, it was a shack that Kayo really loved. And she saw how the window could work. I mean, because it looks like the rain and the wind will just go right through it, you know. There was one plantation house that we made our office, which was really squalid, but that's where we had our one phone.
Right.
And printing,
Yeah.
printing is
But it was important to have that little house to be really that you felt that you were in the middle of the cane field.
Right.
And I remember, like, we talked a lot about, like, every time you look out the window, they had to feel some of the stages of growth. And the idea that you couldn't really see that far away. So once they were, like, in there, they were sort of trapped as well.
it's your crew.
But it was, I can't remember. It was kind of a regular crew. Like, I mean, for that size movie.
I thought you would have it skeletal, like.
No, but it was challenging though, because we had to do a lot every day, and we were ambitious as well. I mean, so we wanted that to look obviously bigger than the budget we had, and there were a lot of things that were very specific in terms of how the camera moved, and we had to take dolly tracks. It was so challenging in that environment, and then dealing with the lighting. There was a lot of night scenes as well.
Right.
You know,
I had a lot of
Yeah.
night scenes.
Yeah, a lot of nights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Was it
Well, the character was actually because she had two totally different lives, right? I mean, so it's like one was just work in the fields, and the other one was her own personal life that she was kind of moving in a different direction.
and she was a ghost.
Yeah.
So that was all day for
was
night.
Yeah.
Tamlyn, this is sort of a cliche question, but I'm going to ask anyways. You know, so when you read the script, did you already have an idea of how you were going to portray her, whether in conversations with Kayo or just your internal?
I think all of it. Yeah, I think it was because the inspiration of Kayo was she was so adoring and scared and respectful of her elder women. Why she is the way she was, you know, talking about otemba, which kind of means like the tomboy, right?
Yeah.
Tomboy is the word. Yeah, it means tomboy. So I'm not really feminine. You know, I can, you know, work the fields as hard as any man. I think that was something that was really, really kind of ingrained in her. And I think for me, it's taking my inspiration from my mother and the way we communicate and the way we don't communicate. How you do things as a gesture of love or of respect or affection, because I'm never going to say I love you. I'm never going to say I adore you. It's, you know, this is, did you eat yet? Keep warm, you know, those kinds of things. And then my grandmother as well. So it's a homage to all our grandmothers, our great grandmothers, and how they were, for lack of a better word, subjugated as women, as lesser than, but they actually at the end are the equal to the male-dominated structure, the essence of whatever heart stories we have, you know, that we come into when we read a play or we read a story, we watch a movie, we watch a television, we listen to a podcast. It's about the heart of the matter, and I think it really does come from majority women perspectives, you know, to be able to really, really look at what the meaning is behind the story. Why are we telling this story? And then you hire persons around that who can really frame it, who can light it, who can write it as to how we're trying, the reason why this story needs to be told.
Was there a rehearsal process once everyone was gathered, like when you finalized the cast and, DP? Did you all rehearse at all? Like a week, or I mean, did you,
We had blocking. We never. I don't remember a read through either. I think we had blocking rehearsals because
Okay.
it was dependent on what Claudio wanted to, and Kayo could capture the expanse of I mean, literally the conditions he really wanted to, and Kayo really wanted it. I mean, the muddiness, the sounds of,
Yes.
those kinds of things, and not being television oriented. It's not master over. It's like being above. I think that was, one thing that was really interesting was just gazing out into the sky, but the camera's right in front of you or on top of you, literally.
Yeah. You guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we were so under the gun. We had so much material to shoot and so little time to do setups. And we were often arriving at the location on the day that we were shooting without any. And so the blocking, what Tamlyn is talking about is we would arrive. I mean, I was out actually usually on the phone, like panicking, but I remember that in terms of rehearsal, the actors, Claudio would arrive on set and do a blocking on set, on location. So that's like the genius of it, because everybody was working with what existed and trying to find the right angles to tell the story. And Kayo was a master of that. She knew what would work and she knew what to let fall away. And that's really hard.
Yeah. A lot of egolessness.
Yeah. Ego free production.
Stay tuned for the next episode. Pop the yolk and spread the love. Yolk is back.